A new sober house for veterans struggling with substance abuse and PTSD is nearing completion.
Aaron Stuvey has more about the project and how its leaders hope it will truly help the local veteran community.
Work began on the Bravo Zulu House near Winnebago in 2023, and the process has been anything but smooth. Flooding last summer caused plans to change, but now the work is nearly complete, and there will soon be a new option for veterans struggling with substance abuse and PTSD.
They give the men that live there dignity. They're treated well. Each man has a private room. If you go to most sober living facilities, it could be a rehab motel and with 4 guys in a room.
Tuesday saw the house unveiled to the public in Mankato, inviting local community members and veterans to see the facility for the first time. That ribbon cutting comes the day after Memorial Day, a fact that project leaders say wasn't originally planned, but does add some significance to the event.
Yesterday, my wife and I placed quarters and dimes and pennies on headstones at the Fort Snelling National Cemetery to those that we've known that have been lost to us, in the last 10 years, and we're glad to be part of this organization.
The facility is meant to fill a need in the local veteran community that those veterans say only grows every day.
It extends to my wife and I personally, who've lost 7 colleagues since 2019 to the confluence of substance abuse and PTSD.
The house isn't ready quite yet, but project leaders expect to start bringing in residents this summer and to be operating at full capacity by this fall. In Mankato, Aaron Stuvey, KUIC News Now.